I know.
Morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Jeez. Can y'all believe it's like almost the end of the year? Like, forget Christmas, just the end of the year. I think it's pictured as if it was yesterday, where we're sitting there at New Year's Eve saying, hey, this year, man, this year, like it's every year. It's crazy how it happens. But anyways, it's almost the end of the year. Welcome to another episode of Mayhem Monday. And today, not really sure what the hell we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something, though.
Yeah, throw it up.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
That's Monday morning for y'all.
That's right. Oh, wow.
Internet guy goes out. Hey, did you notice that Restreams put a new video clip in here?
No.
Yeah. That would have been good as the hey, we're coming
Last
on
Tuesday.
seconds of the 12 days of Christmas.
Come on, Restream. You got to step it up a little bit, like we're. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we're gonna wear.
Give Jeff 2 minutes. He'll be back in his tracksuit. Give him 2 minutes.
Be like Superman, head into the booth.
So how was the weekend, boys?
Good, man. How about yours? What did everybody do this lovely weekend?
Yeah, quite a lot, man. We went to that concert. Man, it's so funny about that story. I went to that concert on Friday downtown at Massey Hall, and it was the first time we've ever walked out of a concert because they were really bad. So we actually, my wife and I, we probably stayed for 10, 15 minutes, and we only paid $100 for the tickets. We like to do different spontaneous things, but we're like, holy shit, this sucks. So we left, and then we went out for dinner, and then we had fun. But something I actually want to raise awareness for that was really cool, that I think was the highlight of my weekend. Other than Messi winning the World Cup, shout out to Argentina, probably the greatest game ever played. That game, if any, that was definitely a nail biter. But anyways, so my cousin made a post, I think on social media, saying that, hey, one of her coworkers is looking for dolls or stuffed animals to go to a nursing home for people with Alzheimer's. So I tagged my wife in it, and then we start to learn a little bit more. So it was kind of cool to learn the education. So when somebody's going through Alzheimer's, if they have something like a stuffed animal or a toy or something like that, it brings up kind of some kind of memories. What the lady said after speaking with her was that each one person will have a doll, and they'll treat it like their own baby. So they'll feed it, they'll hug it, and kind of bring that. And I've always known that animals, if you bring a dog to somebody who's kind of going through Alzheimer's or anything else, it might trigger them hey, I used to have a dog when I was a kid. Petting, even commands sit, stay, certain things could kind of get the brain kind of going. So the highlight was for us, we just went to Value Village and we just cleared out the shelves, came home, cleaned up all any kind of dirt or anything like that, and literally dropped off a full bag at my cousin's house yesterday. And it's just that you don't know. And I don't know for you guys, we always talk about being generous. And I think, I don't know, I'm turning 34 on Christmas Day. And for me, it's just being more generous, and there's nothing that I want. My family always asks me what I want. I usually kind of give them a list. And it's for me, it's I just rather give, be generous, charity, those are definitely the pillars of my life. But I thought I'd share that cool thing about Alzheimer's because that was probably the biggest thing that I learned over the weekend. And it will stay with me forever, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely better to give than it is to receive, for sure. For sure.
Yes, sir.
Get more gratitude out of that.
Yes, sir.
Gratification.
Yeah.
No, gratification. No, not gratification. Gratification is it's kind of that feeling. I think it's gratitude. It's gratitude. Just being grateful for everything that we have. We got a roof over our head. We got food on the table.
I'm grateful that I'm able to go and give something away or help somebody out.
Exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
what about you, Dan?
As good, decent human beings, right? Every single day.
It's super cool, brother. I noticed you doing that a lot. Every weekend you're at the rescues and stuff like that. And
yeah, I think I think this industry, and this is a high performance logistics. It's been able to give back my time and money as well. And I think those things if I was working a corporate job or something like that, I just wouldn't have the time. Before it was you hustle from Monday to Friday. You just want to relax on Saturday, Sunday, and things like that. But I think you just kind of find the things that kind of make your soul. It sets your soul on fire, and just do more of it every single time, right? And
because you, sir, are a good, decent human being.
Thank you, as of all of you, man. But enough about me. Dan, what'd you get up to? It looks like you're going to go snowmobiling, even though there's like no snow out there right now.
But there's no snow out there. I don't understand it. It's
Yeah,
killing me.
you got the gear.
It's I don't know. It's this weekend I didn't do very much actually this weekend. Worked on my snowmobile a bit yesterday. Because even though I got my new surgery tomorrow, I'm still very confident I'm going to have a snowmobile season. So I'm making sure everything's ready for the time I got to go. Realized, I don't know, I've been inward a lot lately, and just realizing more and more about myself and what I need to work on and things I need to take care of. And for me, that was a huge gift because I never looked at myself ever until this happened, right? I was always about other people. So for me, it was more of an inner reflection on the weekend. Went to my family's Christmas. It was awesome to see everybody. It was amazing to see the family, and these are my in-laws. I don't know if I told you guys, but I struck the in-law lottery, like huge, like Powerball lottery. So it's always awesome to see them. Had a great time. It just goes too fast.
It does.
Like for us, when we leave here, we drive an hour north, and then we stay for a couple hours, but then we got to get back for the dogs, right? And it's it's that. Well, Ryan, you got like 16 of them.
18.
But it's sometimes it's challenging when you don't have family members close or other people that, like, when I was going back and forth to the hospital, my friend Brent would come and feed them lunch, which like saved our soul. Or Jessica, we actually asked her not to work this summer and she stayed home with the dogs. But when she went back to school, my friend Brent took over for lunches. But everyone was busy, couldn't find anybody. And like my son and daughter are with us, like we're all gone. So it's like, it's challenging sometimes for that, the logistics of it, right? But other than that, it was a nice quiet weekend. Did some snow blowing, did some shoveling, felt my energy return a little bit. Like I only had one little nap yesterday. And so it's good. I'm coming around.
That's good. And just to kind of add to that, it's so close to have your family. Like we purposely bought our house that's like 5 minutes away from my mom and my sister. And it's just like being able to it's so ironic because like anytime I go out with power, they don't have power because their house was built like 35 years ago. So like they're built good, so we can just go over there and hang out. And especially with the dogs, I completely agree. So maybe check out Rover. Like we've used Rover so many times when my sister's not available to come over. And just literally put the key under the door and they come feed the dogs.
Yeah, they don't come to our. It's like we don't have DoorDash. We don't have the other one, Uber Eats.
Okay.
We got nothing in this area. We don't even have taxis. And I looked at Rover. We've got one service up top of the street, Bold Canine, that does
my customer
walks and that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're super cool people. But it's like pre-planned, right? So we were leading up to Saturday, and it was like it was one of these things where it's all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, the dogs, like we're going to leave at this time and come back, so it was like, okay, so you're trying to plan it so you're no longer than like 7 hours between.
We're the same way. We give ourselves 8 hours. 8 hours is before they like pee and poop in the house.
There you go.
It's like an 8 hour like kind of window. But I know, but it's cool to think about those things because like now when you're planning to like do something else, like even for us, we're planning our vacations for next year. We're like, okay, well, let's figure out the dog thing because we're trying to go to Jamaica for like 7 days and things like that. And Jeff knows, right? Because he used to come down to Toronto quite a bit when he was in his dog days. So I like that you bring that up because it's really important that people need to think, it's just not just about yourself. It's like your little furry friends or like your little kids, like your own kids as well. Like you got to kind of think about that and how that affects them.
Oh yeah. And then you got to pack, right? You got to pack for the situation. And I don't pack. I don't travel lightly anymore. I got a pole with wheels on it. I got like all these different drinks. I got all this different medication and stuff. And like we went to when we went to Niagara last weekend, the back seat of like the biggest truck you can buy is jammed, and like 90% of it is like, well, I got to take this at this time, this at this time. It's freaking stupid. I went from a little travel like bathroom case to a box.
Gotta wear a backpack.
Wait a second, Dan. All right, so I listened to exactly what you said, right? You said you did shoveling and did a whole bunch of stuff this weekend, right?
Yeah.
You had that pole out there in your driveway, and you
No. The weekend before we went to Niagara, my wife and I, for my birthday, she took me to Niagara. And when we were packing the truck, it's like you're putting the pole in the truck and you're putting in our bags and all my drugs and creams and all this other stuff I got to use. And that was all. No, I wasn't chilling the driveway.
I
just imagine like
man, that's an extreme.
But I'll tell you right now, I had a call with a chat with a buddy of mine on the weekend. He goes, so what happens if you can't like fully eat by the time snowmobile season comes around? I said, dude, I'll sit on the side of the trail with a pole in the air and gravity feed myself for 45 minutes and then get back on the sled and go.
That's commitment. It's gonna be like frozen. It's like a slushy.
Oh yeah, like it'll be literally. I'll have to figure out how to heat it while we ride.
Yeah, you couldn't grab it because you'd be stuck to it.
Oh yeah, like I'm telling you, man. There's
Dan, where did you go? Where did you go?
Going snowmobile trails, right? There's these cabanas. There's always clubhouses everywhere you go, and in the clubhouse, like especially the one in Fergus, is a really cool clubhouse. Like it's huge and it's got like this massive wood stove, and then they always leave wood there, and you stoke the stove when you go in and you leave it hot for the next snowmobilers that come. Like you make sure you clean up all your stuff. Like it's like golf, right? Where there's rules, like unsaid rules, but I can get to any clubhouse in probably an hour and a half. So like I can go, I can leave here at 10. I can go to Fergus Clubhouse. I can sit there for 45 minutes while this drips. And I even said to my buddy, I said, you guys go, I'll catch up with you. Right. Like I've been snowmobiling long enough. I'm not that guy that is standing on, just a track and catwalking because I'm trying to make it to the next trail because I think I'm cool because I got a pipe in my sled. Right. Like,
right.
I'm beyond that age. But there will be ways. I just got to figure it out. Like, how do I get a pole on my snowmobile? And so it's like the retractable.
And you don't want to hit any low-lying trees.
Yeah, but what I've got is I'm thinking of a retractable light holder. Like if you ever done the movie,
like one of those telescopic things.
Yeah. So like kind of like in photo shoots and stuff, and then it has a knob on the top, and all I got to do is put a slice in the knob, and then I can put the hook in here into that slice in the knob, right? So there's ways to do it. It's just, do you want to make it or not? Right. Like, and that's what we talk about all the time. I want to do it.
Nice segue. I'm like, we're talking about snowmobiling for like forever. And like, I like that segue into like,
wait a second. Wait. All right. Let's look at the really good possibilities here. You might not even need that, my friend, in another month.
Oh, I know.
So
brother, I plan.
I know. It's always looking at the what ifs. I always say that, right? So it's like, what if? Okay, I got this handled, buddies. No problem. We're in. So good for you, dude. Good for you. Yeah.
I will not let my season go by. I lost my whole summer. I'm not letting my winter lose. Not gonna happen.
That's the mindset you need, my friend, in everything that you do, day in and day out. Personal, business, that is the mindset. Yep. Well, my weekend I enjoyed very, very much. I went to one of my favorite places, the freaking mall. I mean, and didn't really
sense that sarcasm, Ryan.
No, it's actually Jake's favorite place. It is. It's the most happiest place that he can go to.
Man, it was. You know what? Our mall. I think you said. Or even you, Ryan, that you went to the mall and it was like barren and stuff. I couldn't believe this past weekend that it's a big mall in Rockaway. And I'll tell you what, tremendous amount of cars all over the place. And I was like to my wife, I go, you know what? It kind of sucks to go in there and wait on these lines and everything. But as far as people buying things and stuff like that, I said, this is fantastic. I haven't seen it like this in freaking months. I mean, maybe even a year. I mean, it was always desolate, so I think the retailers had a very, very, very good weekend, and that means more shipping, guys. So, and then nothing much more than that, just football yesterday, watched a lot of games and didn't really do that much over the weekend. Sometimes you need that. I like doing that every once in a while, plus I didn't have my car because it's getting fixed. So I'm waiting to get that back. So,
So question for you boys.
Yes, sir.
Do you like crowds? Do you like
Yeah.
like? And I'm not talking like at a concert or something, because that, is, I think it's a different vibe. But like in a mall, do you like super crowded malls, or would you rather do online shopping?
No,
Can,
no.
can I be frank?
Please.
Okay. I don't mind it. It's the assholes that are there that I really, really hate. You ever see those like on Black Friday, where people are waiting outside of Walmart and they open up the door and these freaking people just rush and they're freaking throwing boxes up in the air. I mean, I just find around this time of year that there's so many unpleasant people out there with absolutely no patience whatsoever. Nobody wants to be last. Everybody wants to be first. And it's just complete mayhem, like Mayhem Monday, But serious, I mean, I don't mind the crowds as long as they were decent human beings that were in those crowds. Hey, Merry Christmas. Hey, Happy New Year. I
Then
mean,
you do mind things, because it's not those types of people.
you don't see a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot, but there's just these other people that are just, too far into their own selves. Let's put it that way.
Got it.
It's-
Got it. Good morning again, Nerf. Glad you showed up again. Christy, how are you? I feel like it's been forever since we've chatted.
Hey, Christy, I haven't seen her in a while.
I know. Ryan, big crowds, no crowds?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I honestly, I'm kind of, I don't know, when I kind of go shopping, especially for Christmas time, I know what I want to get. I'm in and out. So it doesn't matter to me if anyone's unpleasant or anything like that. I love crowds. I think it's awesome. It's nice to, I think more so since we're in logistics, to kind of see people with the buying patterns and seeing what they're buying and things. Like, I love going into a store and like seeing stuff that's like sold out because people are just actively buying. One thing I've noticed this year, and I don't know, it has to do with like inflation or like salaries and things like that. There's a lot less cashiers. So I feel like that's what's like, that's the reason why there's a lot of long lineups. Yesterday, even we went grocery shopping, it's like at least like 50 people in lineup and like 3 cashiers, right? And, they're doing their best. It doesn't really matter to them. But yeah, I like crowds. I don't mind it. Like, when it comes to like music concerts, caravana crowds, people in the mall, like, give me all the people, man. We've been locked in for like 2 years. Let me see everybody. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's funny. Bath
and
Body Works. We went into that one place in the mall, right? And
That's a great
the
story.
wife goes, I love it. So my wife goes, let's get a couple candles, some hand sanitizers, some hand wash. Go in there, right? Walk out with about 30 candles.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like it was like 100 pounds in each thing. And I was like, I thought we were only going to spend like maybe $30, $300 later. It's like, it always happens that way. Always happens that way. I love that place. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. The smells in there, just like, no matter what, it's like, you're like, oh my gosh, like, wow, that's really nice. Yeah. I used to not like crowds for the same reason that I just found there was more rude people than nice people. And I don't know if it's living up in the country. It's like you say hi to everyone you see, right? Definitely. And then going into the city to shop, it's like this huge culture shock if you haven't been there in a while. And then COVID hit. And then it was like, I'm like, I want to get in front of as many people as I can, like, just to feel the energy of people again. And and that's what we were doing. And then when I got sick, I don't want to be around anyone, because every cough, I'm like, what? Like I'm like, I'm paranoid, which I'm sure I'll get over.
Understandably,
over the next little while, because I'm a people person. I love people. I love crowds. It's I would have loved to have gone to all the events this year, but circumstances didn't allow me to go to any. But what I've actually found recently, and it'll answer your question, Ryan. I was at Real Canadian Superstore last weekend, and the place was jammed, and there was 3 cashiers. Yeah. And I asked the lady, I said, how come you only have 3 cashiers, like this close to Christmas, this many people? She says, we are so short staffed. We had 4 people that were supposed to show up today. None of them showed up. So like people are, it's a staffing shortage. And she goes, and we're doing our best. She goes, you should see how people are yelling at me when they're in line. Yeah. And it's fun. And I'll share a story. Did I tell you guys what happened at Canadian Tire to me? So this just shows you some people in life that just can't keep it together. So I go to Canadian Tire and I get a couple of things, and two of them include paper plates, like Christmas plates and napkins. And I put everything down and I got a garland. And the lady scans the napkin and she's like, "Oh, it's not working." So she goes back and forth, back and forth. Finally, she says, "Where did you get them in the aisle?" And I said, "Well, it was like 3 aisles down." So she goes 3 aisles down. Well, she's gone for a good 5 minutes. And I see this one man and husband, and the man starts like shaking back and forth, and he's got hub rims, like hub covers, like
Yeah.
in his hands. And he's just like, you can tell he's getting so anxious. And I'm sitting there, and there's this lovely man beside me, and we're having a conversation. And I'm like, "Sorry about this," like, and the guy walks by me and he goes, "Thanks, dude. You just totally ruined my fucking day." And I'm like, "Me? Like, what did I know?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that, my friend. I hope it gets better." And he walks out of the store. And I was like, wow, I guess that's what happens. But you know what? Bad day. Maybe he's, I keep chalking it up to that. Maybe he's heard something bad about a family member, or maybe there's something going on in his life. I don't know. But
I mean, you could smile, you could say whatever you want, man. If they're in a bad mood, they're gonna let you have it no matter which way it is. And you just smile at them, just laugh at them. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I just
It's a
laugh
shame.
at them. Just like,
It's a shame. It really is.
yeah.
Mr. Pearson, how are you this morning?
True, buddy. It's happening.
Ryan might say hi, but he's got a bunch of texts he's got to return and stuff.
Yeah. It's my Monday Mayhem on the cell phone there, but
Come on, man.
from there. But I think when people are kind of going through that, it's just like we always kind of say, like, just kind of focus on yourself and kind of get out the door, because I've worked on the retail side. I remember like one of my first jobs, I worked at Sport Check, which is like a local like footwear store here in Canada. And I think everybody should work. I think there's two jobs that every person should work. I think it should be in fast food, and you should work in retail, at least when you're first starting,
Really?
because you really get to learn human nature, of people, and just like how people are, because like you always have like a mindset of like how people should act or how shouldn't act, but you really get to learn people, especially like when I worked at Carter's, that was a kid's store, and like people like going crazy that, oh my god, you don't have like the winter boot in stock, and you're trying to find options for them, and just see them go crazy over it, and it's like, okay, what's really going on in your life that you're spazzing out on like this winter boots, right? So I think those are two jobs that definitely people should do to understand human nature, at least, because you get different personalities every single day. It's crazy.
That's actually a really good idea, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like a really good idea. I've worked retail, never worked fast food, but my wife has. And when we have stories, it's like you see what happens. Like we've all been in McDonald's or in Tim's or something, and the person in front of us is losing their mind over a coffee.
Yeah.
Yep. But for those of you that love coffee, that's like it's my morning. It's what starts my morning, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because like my first job was
Nurse
McDonald's.
says,
We'll see. Like
they modeled the hairstyle of the male Sport Check dolls in Canada, Ryan. I made a lot of money from that.
See, there we go. See, that's why they had to sell over to Canadian Tire, right? They
that's it. That's
it. Group, and because Nerf was definitely taking all the money. But it's really important.
Right? She says, absolutely, Ryan. You have to go through it to understand.
Maggie and DJ, they're my people, man. They understand. I love everything that they're all about. But I think when it comes back, like you said, like your wife worked in fast food, and you just get to understand people. I think even with fast food, I worked at McDonald's. That was my first job at 15. And it was kind of cool because I got promoted in 6 months to manager. So I was like the youngest manager in the store. Like I wasn't allowed to open or close the store because I was too young. I was under 18. But it was like it was cool to kind of see the lessons. Like if anybody was to ask me what was my favorite job ever, I will always say there. Even sometimes I'm like, hey, do I want to like take like a part-time shift just to go have fun? But I don't want to be that 30. I don't want to be that old person like that that was in the thing. But it's just really cool to be amongst team camaraderie, people working together for the same mission, and like you said, people going crazy for their coffee. But it's like a nice story to have at the end of the day with your people, and teamwork and things like that. So I love fast food.
But I have to ask this just because of generations. Like you growing up, I'm in a different area than you, and Jeff's in a different area than me. When I was growing up, it was you work hard, respect your elders, all this kind of stuff, all of these things, right, Jeff, that our parents told us. Mm-hmm. I don't, and maybe it's just perspective over anything,
Of course.
but I don't go through drive-through. I always go in because I like to watch people. And I don't see any of that camaraderie, get up and go, almost any fast food place I go. Like it's the looks that when somebody says something and turn around, the look and the pace that people are going. So if anyone is earlier in life and in fast food, is that still the mentality, or is it kind of just, this is a job? Because I know my son, when he worked at McDonald's, and he was like, Dad, he goes, the training's awesome.
Yeah.
He goes, but like the people just don't listen to, and my son's, he's training for firefighting. So there's a serious rank involved. So he understands that. And he's like, they don't respect the manager. He goes, like, they're giving them the finger behind their back. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, it's like, it's crazy. And I don't know if and again, that's just from my perspective, viewing people.
Yep.
Then when my buddy Eve, when we were younger, when he worked at McDonald's, it felt like a well-oiled machine. Like people were talking to each other, they were getting things going and everything was working so smoothly.
Yeah, well, there's two aspects of it, right? Like if you look at it, if we're really going to deep dive into this, but there's two types of like a fast food place. Either they're corporate, so that means head office runs everything, or they're a franchise, meaning that somebody's bought a bunch of franchises and they kind of get to run it how they kind of run and want to run it, right? And even for me, when I worked there, it was, it was kind of funny because like you have the morning shift, which is like the older people, like the retirees and things like that. They were much, because everyone's in school, right? As a teenager. And then you got the evenings, which is myself and like other people. But, I think it's just like, I think it's just human nature too, right? Because like I haven't seen it, like it's very rare for me to find like a very bad customer service experience, because I've kind of been in their shoes. Even if food is late or if food is a little bit cold, it's like, okay, well, hey, can you fix this, resolve this for me, and kind of go from there, right? But even with like food service workers, I know you said that you don't see that the camaraderie. From what I remember, I don't know how it is now because I always do the drive-through, brother. But you don't get to see the back of like the actual workers working together unless it's like, remember Licks? Do you remember Licks, Dan? Licks Burgers?
No.
Okay, Licks Burgers was huge where like you go in there and they're singing. Like they're yelling out the orders. Like it was a burger joint. Probably one of my favorite burger joints growing up. But I think I can't comment on, like we said, if we have somebody younger in the crew or somebody has kids and they're working right now in like food service, I can't attest to that. But I know that I was only there for like a year and a half, I think, until I kind of moved on to my next role. But you look at everything, right? Everything's so expensive. Like when I was working there, I would want to buy like a Toronto Raptors jersey, which is like $50-$60. Kids now, they want the AirPods, which is like $300. Imagine how many shifts you got to work to buy some AirPods or buy some Jordans that are like $300. Like it's just the cost of buying things are really.
Did you say lids or licks?
Licks.
Oh, okay.
Licks Burgers, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's crazy. They had a bunch of locations, but I love this topic because I think it set a foundation, and just coming back to it, you learn that customer service portion to always kind of be serving, right? And then you kind of like, okay, like your son said, the train's amazing. Like I actually went to McU University, which is probably one of my favorite trainings ever. They sent me away for 2 weeks away, and then I literally learned how to become a manager. And that's why we kind of lack in different things, but I think it's a great model.
Yeah. Now you're getting into a whole other topic, because how many companies, when they promote a salesperson to a manager, actually train them?
Yeah.
Not in logistics anyway. No. And it's a huge issue. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I worked for somebody that was, let's just say, operating well below their pay grade.
You know what it comes down, and I don't know. I gave up fast food 30 years ago. Haven't been in anything, but you brought something up that was kind of alarming, with the subordinates working for the manager and having disrespect, giving them the finger, all this kind of stuff. That just says to me that the manager there just doesn't have his finger on the pulse. A good manager would get that vibe, would get that feeling that something's going on and there's cancer among us. How do we remove, no pun intended, Dan, how do we remove that, that tumor, sort of speaking, because it's going to go like wildfire. And so that's the biggest alarming thing. A good manager, a good leader would have that pulse and would be able to listen in the tone and everything like that, that that something's going on. So whose failure is that? When things go awry like that, definitely on the manager. Maybe that person shouldn't be in that position. No, that person shouldn't be in that position if that's the way his crew is treating him or her in that situation. So
Drew says
anything.
Jimmy the Greek lasted 4 months, then Future Shop six years. Absolutely agree.
I always wanted to work at Future Shop.
Love to you, Ryan. Maggie came back to you, brother. Drew says Licks was number one.
Yes, best burgers in the world, man.
Yeah, 100%. Nerf wrote a paragraph here. I'd like to make people laugh through the drive-thrus around the city. I will go to McDonald's and ask for cabbage rolls or pet-related meals like IM's cat food for you. And you can hear people laughing over the speaker, or they will tell me to park in one of the colored spots. As I wait for my food, I'll tell them which spot it is, that I'm colorblind, and give me this weird look. Yeah. Have you ever done the at the drive? And I love doing this one where you go, okay, I'll take and create and then they're like, you pretend like the speaker's all
well, what? I love how you bring that up, because like it's a great conversation in terms of AI. I don't know if you guys have been to McDonald's lately, but when you go to McDonald's, and I've seen every drive-through from Ajax, from Toronto to GTA, there's AI that starts the conversation in drive-through. Like there's an automatic voice that comes on and says, "Hey, are you going to be collecting rewards today?"
Yes.
And you either say yes or no. And that's that's not the person in the store saying that. That's a pre-recording that they have there. So it's like, you think about that. And Jeff brings up a great point when he was talking about it's the manager. And you kind of see that. I remember this in retail. All my managers, like, I hate to say this, but they didn't accomplish much, like they went to high school, they went to college, they didn't pursue their dreams or anything like that. So they did like the backup plan, and they've got that like power that they feel that like I've had so many like managers, like I've called in sick and legitimately be sick because I like to work and be like, no, you have to get here right now, or it's going to be really bad. We're going to write you up. I'm like, go ahead. I don't care. I'm a 16-year-old kid. What do I care? And it's just that power that retail and fast food has. But I know we're diverting, but I love that Jeff bring, because I just triggered some memories from my youthful days.
Nice.
Yeah. What else is up there?
Well, I got to give you the lane of the day, and then we may as well shoot out for today. So. And that was such a cool transition to the lane of the day, wasn't it? That was super cool. We finally got a trans-border lane of the day, Ryan. We've got Bloomington, Illinois to Toronto. The line haul rate per mile is $2.07. All in with fuel, $2.65. Contracted rate, including fuel, is $2.72. A year-over-year change of plus 13 cents from last year, which is actually pretty interesting. You'd think it would have dropped instead of gone up. Sorry, my dog is doing something here, and I got to figure out what she's doing. Recent rate jump on this lane after sharp declines in April. Current rate is 72 cents higher than the November average. That, my friends, is the DAT lane of the day.
Nice.
All right, Ryan, you seem to be going a little pixelated today, buddy.
Yeah.
No, I kind of got the thing. No, I was just paying attention to it because, like you kind of said, like it's close to what, what was that? What a mile?
265 all in.
US. Oh yeah, 265 US. Because I'm like, that's a good rate. That is a good rate. Usually that's like a $3-4 a mile kind of lane. So definitely reach out to your customers and make sure you procure the carriers for that. But that is an amazing rate.
Yeah, you are pixelated, as Dan.
Yeah, your camera came out of focus, brother.
Yeah, you're not in focus for sure. But hey, listen, I want to mention this, guys, people watching this. What a show we have in store for you this Thursday. You do not want to miss this. We have the great Jeb Blunt that we did a pre-recording with this past week. That is beyond gold nuggets. It's platinum. You definitely want to check that out, right, guys? I mean, come on. It was
definitely. He wrote Inked. He wrote Fanatical Prospecting, and it's from his new book, Selling in a Crisis. He's what started as a half hour where we got a strict time limit turned into an hour
Oh yeah.
It's a
Oh,
great
flat-
conversation, y'all.
Oh, unbelievable. Yep. Something you don't want to miss. I'm telling you.
Ryan, take us out, brother.
There we go. So I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. We will be hitting the replay again at 12 and 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Like we said, we've got some amazing guests. We're going to be hitting that replay with Jeb. Again, that all out for you, and tons of nuggets on that one. So we want to see you guys tomorrow. We've got an amazing topic, and you just never know what will happen tomorrow as we're kind of getting closer down to Christmas. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great day, guys.
Do we have the video?